obviously this has been on top of mind, but about a week ago, or not even a week ago, earlier this week, right after the national championship, you may have seen Darren Ravel posted something about, he showed these Ryan Day autographed footballs. Mm-hmm. And he was saying like Fanatics or one of the sites or whatever, like if you go there today, that's the thing that is available. And years ago, it used to always be A.J. Green at Georgia sold his jersey, and Julio Jones or Mark Ingram or whoever, kind of got in this semi-trouble for like an autograph signing or whatever. And Johnny Manziel was autographing crap and getting money for it and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so then the whole idea, by the way, it's called name, image, and likeness, right, was that now the player can benefit from being a great player by selling their name, image, and likeness. And what dawned on me with this kid who I've never heard of, right, and everything, like, and the point of Ravel's thing is we have name, image, and likeness now, and like there's no Jeremiah Smith, right, jersey you can buy the next day or and it is weird, right, that it was all under the premise of which we all agreed with, right? You should be able to profit off of your name, image, and likeness, but that's really not what is happening. No. Guys aren't profiting. Like, I was thinking about this even with Memphis. I don't know what P.J. Haggerty got. Probably a lot, right? But it's not like P.J. Haggerty's on a commercial, and there's no P.J. Haggerty jersey that I'm buying, right, and there's no, you know what I mean? Like, the whole concept was the players can make a lot of money off of their brand, but I don't know if any of them actually make money off of their brand, but rather they are just basically getting paid.
Other than like the football game.
I'm sure like there's a Cooper Flag.
Is there?
Like, I'm making things up, but like a Beats deal or something. I'm sure he's got some national stuff. But to your point, you're exactly right. All this money being thrown into the sport, it's not, if you come sign autographs, we'll give you some money for these autographs. I mean, that is happening, but they're just throwing money. It's pay for play. It is exactly, when people who said it'll turn into pay for play, which is what I said, by the way, and I'm fine with it, but that's what it is. Jamin Brakefield.
Because there is no name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, Jamin Brakefield.
I didn't even know this person, and you said the kid's getting 6 figures.
Don't quote me on this, but I think this is probably either true or close to true. Every scholarship player at Ole Miss is making 6 figures.
Oh, wow.
Every basketball player, scholarship player. Like, I think, yeah.
You think that's true?
Damn. Yeah.
And it ain't because they're moving the needle.
If you're on,
I'm saying selling gear, selling autographs. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
I'm saying there's probably somebody averaging 6 points a game at Ole Miss who's making $250,000.
Which is wild because it used to be that it was like, man, if AJ McCarron could sell his jersey and sell, autographed footballs, whatever, like, okay, fine. Barrett Jones probably isn't making that money.
Right.
But we all accepted that. It was like, bro, Johnny Manziel should be making a lot of money. And Cooper Flag should be making a lot of money. And A.J. McCarron should be making a lot of money. And whoever, right? The stars, the ones that are, those are the reason we're Cam Ward should be making a lot of money, right? Like, we all got it. But, like, you literally told a whole story about a dude I've never heard of in my life, and you were like, and because he got 6 figures, I'm like, 6 figures?
Well, like, there are hundreds of college basketball players right now. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Let's call it dozens. Let's call it lots. Who are making more money right now through name, image, and likeness than they will ever make in their life.
Do you know what the average salary in the G League is?
Yeah.
$41,500.
Yeah. Sheesh. That's why if you're Hunter Dickinson, you're back at Kansas because you can make $1.5 million at Kansas for that in the G League.
God, $41,500.
Yeah.
What's the name?
And you said that you think every scholarship player at Ole Miss, that's not even it's not even a big basketball program compared to, there's at least 20 basketball programs.
Chris Beard can.
What? No, there's probably. What? How many? If you were going to rank the best basketball programs in the country, I get it. Chris Beard's there now. They're not in the top 40.
Not historically.
No.
But Ole Miss.
But they're cracking now.
They've got real NIL money down there.
Yeah.
For football and basketball. Chris Beard can walk into a high school player's living room right now, today, and say this honestly. If you come to Ole Miss and you redshirt your freshman year and you spend 5 seasons on campus, you can leave here with $1 million. You can leave here with your house paid off. If you want to.
No.
You will have $1 million when you leave here if you
They're going to make a lot more money than they will. And I actually thought this is...
Orlando Baycott I was a story about him. He made more than $2 million in
Well, this is the thing I talked to Chris Beard about this, too, because I was like,
$2 million.
$2 million?
Because it runs...
And he's not even on a two-way with the Grizzlies.
So he made more bread at North Carolina.
Yeah, and so what's interesting is it runs counter to the way most of us live our lives. It can be a little confusing. When you're in college, most of us are just doing what we can do to get by. And you always assume I'm going to make more money next year, and eventually when I get my career, I'll make more money. And you assume you'll be making more when you're 40 than when you were 30, and when you're 50, making more than when you were 40. And that's right now, college athletes, in some cases, are 20 years old and making more money right now than they will ever make again.
Okay, how about this? What if I propose this? That while it is terrible right now in terms of transferring, and obviously the highest bidder gets the guys, and we have new teams every year, whatever, that in the end for the sport and the ability to maintain having teams for 3 and 4 years, this could very well end up being the best thing for the very reason that you said, right? That if I am a fringe NBA player, if I'm Josh Minot,
Mark Sears,
there's no way if I'm Josh Minot and we're under the current conditions that I would leave after 1 year at Memphis if the next year I could make $250,000, which is a real thing that could happen, right?
Yeah.
If you're right. Like,
I tell you this.
So, is it possible that we're going to have guys stay in college
We got it right now.
longer?
Mark Sears. In any other era of college basketball, Mark Sears is a professional basketball player now. He went to Alabama, went to the Final Four. Stock was at an all-time high. You were in love with him.
Yep.
I don't know where he got picked, but he
He's
would
like
have been
college Brunson.
He would have been gone.
Yeah.
You go through the combine, you get the feedback. They say you're a second-round pick.
Yeah.
All right, what does that mean? Well, most American college basketball players who get picked in the second round get guaranteed contracts. They just do.
Yeah.
So, you're going to get a guaranteed contract, and it's going to look a lot like the Scottie Pippen Jr. contract, something like that. Okay. Or, hear me out, come back to Alabama, be the preseason National Player of the Year. We'll give you $2 million to do that. What do you want to do? That's why he came back to school. He got paid a lot of money to come back to school. So here's
a better question.
That's a tangible example of an All-American basketball player still being in school only because Alabama was able to pay him to be there. Otherwise, he would not be.
The better question would be G.G. Jackson. He signed a 4-year, $8.5 million deal.
Mm-hmm. That's the one where I think.
No, I know, but what if, I mean.
Yeah.
What is the number if G.G. Jackson plays?
Well, no, here's okay.
AJ Debinsa
Take Cam Spencer.
AJ Debinsa at BYU is going to get reportedly like $5 or $6 million just to play 1 year of college basketball. So that's where the numbers are for people like this now.
Well, Cam Spencer. So if he was done right at UConn, like was he?
Yeah, he's done.
He couldn't stay no more.
Say he had another year though. So the Grizzlies signed him to a two-way. He's making $578,577 this year. Would Cam
he could make more money at UConn.
He would have
no
made
doubt.
more money playing at UConn.
No doubt, he would be making more money at UConn.
So you do wonder if it's actually going to improve the quality, and you are going to be able to keep players longer.
Yes.
Simply because the
I
amount
hope
of
it
money.
You will be able to keep them longer in college. Then on a micro level, how's Memphis going to keep PJ Haggerty? This is getting expensive.
Yeah, because I looked at his Instagram because like Tori talking about like does he have deals? Does he like kind of like have collaborations? The only deal he has on here is Brookhaven Food.
Right.
Well, that's our guy. He's been a Memphis booster for
Rick
30 years.
Spells.
Brookhaven, the go-to spot.
That's literally Rick Spell. Rick Spell's been one of the biggest Memphis boosters since Gary was the beat writer.
I've known Rick forever.
I love Brookhaven. He's a hashtag epic partner with Fortnite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
PJ Haggerty's got a deal with Fortnite?
Here's
That's
my point
cool.
there. Whatever they had to pay to get PJ Haggerty for this season, that price is going way up.
It's going way
and
up.
And I don't want him to get in the portal. I'm not trying to push it. But if he gets in the portal, he will play basketball next year for millions of dollars.
That will be that will be the fascinating one with a guy like him, and we will kind of see where Memphis basketball is, because I know on the low that has been. I was with somebody from football, and this is right when this was all starting, and when he was sitting down with me, he said, "You realize we will never have a Darrell Henderson, Tony Pollard, like that. Those days are done, bro. Like Mike got all those guys, and they kept all those guys, but like we don't have the money to. They had less money to go shop around last offseason than Charlotte. Now I know that big buffoon with the sleeveless shirt
Biff Poggi.
he was throwing around his own money,
Biff
but they
Poggi.
were in on a lot of the same players, and Charlotte had more money than them. Right,
Well,
and that's Memphis football. I'm saying Memphis basketball has always proven to be able to compete with anybody financially, but Haggerty will be a great case study.
That's right, because
are you now behind? If Kansas comes in and says, "Hey, we want PJ
That's exactly
Haggerty,"
right. It's going to be. I don't know where this is going to go with him. He might just be happy at Memphis and say, "I'm staying no matter what. I got no interest."
or he might be a pro.
Or he might be a pro, right? We'll see. But if Bill Self and Nate Oates decide they want a PJ Haggerty, they're coming with millions of dollars.
Did they
And
just
you're gonna have to come with
did
millions,
they
too.
outbid Michigan, or was he leaving no matter?
I'm not real sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But-
Because remember, it was like highest bidder thing with him with Kentucky and Kansas. I'm talking Dickinson.
Oh yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
You brought up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You brought up Dickinson. Was that just highest bidder, or was that?
I don't know if it was highest bidder, but it was definitely money.
He was leaving Michigan no matter?
Yeah, he said he made in his last year at Michigan. He said I made less than $100,000. Like that was my NIL was less than $100,000. And at Kansas, he got I believe last year he went from making like 80 in a year at Michigan to the next year at Kansas last season making $1 million, and it's more than that now. So for him, it was money. Same thing. I don't know if you saw this Rick Pitino press conference last week. St. John's beat Seton Hall. Beat them pretty bad. Seton Hall's not good this year. Well, Shaheen Holloway lost his whole team to NIL. Kadari Richmond, who was Seton Hall's best player last year, now plays for St. John's. He's one of St. John's best players. And so Rick Pitino, the fans are kind of turning on Shaheen a little bit, like, why are we so bad? And Pitino, at his press conference, said, I just want to make sure, the Seton Hall media, you're here? Yeah. I want to make sure you guys understand what happened. Kadari Richmond, and Kadari was sitting right there, he's like, he did not want to play for me. He wants to play for Shaheen. If the money was the same, he would still be in Seton Hall. If the money was close, he'd still be at Seton Hall. I had way more money than Shaheen had to give him.
Good Lord.
That's why I
People
got
on the
his
podium
best player.
talking like that
That's the
now?
way they're talking now. So
Yeah.
Rick was basically saying, you guys either need to stop criticizing Shaheen or give him the money to succeed, because he lost this player right here who's sitting next to me. He lost him to me not because I'm Rick Pitino. He loves Shaheen. He wants to play for Shaheen.
Yeah.
But I could give him a lot of money.
It's like Rick Barnes going on the podium and was like, yo, you getting paid too much bread not to shoot the ball.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the way we're talking about that.
Like, shoot the ball, bro. We paying you.
And then we're getting into the thing where, and this happens in the NBA, it happens in all sports. When you make a certain amount of money and you don't perform, that becomes a part. It's like your nickname almost.
Yeah.
Chandler Parsons, 90 million. You couldn't say Chandler Parsons without saying 90 million.
Oh, it's about to get spooky.
Well, so Coleman Hawkins at Kansas State famously got $2 million to go to Kansas State. KSU had money to spend. He was the only one out there. They gave him $2 million. He's not very good. So now Kansas State fans are like telling him to kill himself on social media every day. Why did we give this guy $2 million? So the money becomes part of the criticism connected to you. It's a new deal.
Does
That
it kill-
happened with Ohio State. That started to happen with Ohio State football, too,
Yeah.
before they won the title. It's like $20 million roster. They didn't
To
know the
lose to
breakdown of all the
Michigan.
players. But it's
Yeah.
like
Does it
$20 million
kill-
roster for this.
Does it kill the drive of some like college basketball players? Because it's like,
I will tell you-
I got the bread now. I really ain't got to try to hoop.
Okay, so on one hand, you would go, why would it? Like, LeBron's got the bread.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Durant's got the bread. Like, why would it matter? Except I have had multiple coaches. I don't know if they're just talking, but I've had multiple coaches, because you can probably figure it out. There are guys who were preseason first-team All-Americans
They're just like,
that are not playing at that level. And I've had multiple coaches tell me, we gave this dude a bag of money, and he just shut it down.
see, that's
He-
what I'm,
like, he
that's
ain't
what
the
I'm
same-
worried about, bro.
He ain't the same dude.
The product's already kind of mid
Tony and
anyway.
Durant talked about that on their podcast. Tony, Durant, Zebo, and Tony's concern is that you lose the hunger.
Yeah.
Why are you hungry? Why are you going to be able to become, because, and you see this happen a lot, even when guys get drafted or whatever, right? Like, and it's all dependent on what the goal is. And Durant went on this long soliloquy, which is really good. He goes, I try to tell these guys all the time, don't sell yourself for $5 million or whatever, right? Like, that's not the goal. He's like, they are paying crazy money out here, bro. If you stay on your grind, like, you can make $60 million
Yes.
a year,
Yes.
right? But there's a lot of guys that once you've got it and once you're financially secure, I've reached the goal. It's all dependent on what the goal is. And so there's still going to be, like, A.J. DeBance's goal is not
To-
everybody accepts. And Cooper Flagg, he's probably financially set more than any of us ever will be. That being said, the goal is not to be financially set right now. The goal is to make $1 billion because you can. You can make $1 billion.
I just think it's so easy to get comfortable when somebody drops that kind of
For
money
sure.
on you. Because you got to understand, like, the Kevin Durant story. Kevin Durant, for a while, knew this money was coming.
Sure.
And, like, then he's at Texas. And I know he's not rich at Texas, but he's in five-star hotels and on private planes. And you're sort of living this life of luxury. And then you get to the NBA, and now you got all the money. In many cases with college players today, they are going from single-parent home, nothing. I mean, poor, and then boom, here's $400,000, and that's like, and keep in mind, most of them have no bills, no kids, no nothing, and it can get real.
You find out who love basketball real quick, bro.
Yeah, it can just get.
Do you love
It's
the
very
game?
easy for me to sit up here and be like, I wouldn't do that, but I'm not sure I wouldn't do that.
And they all